I'm Mike Costello, and I'm here with Dr. Iris Freelander, and today we'd like to talk to you about pursuing your dreams. And we hope that you are a person who dreams and dreams vividly and wildly, because it is through our dreams that great and wonderful things can happen and do happen to us. And we have often been told, don't daydream, don't waste time. And then other people have told us in our counseling work, I wish I could remember my dreams. And so maybe during this program we'll touch on all of that. But dreams are so important to our creative mind.
Yes, they are. Both the daydreaming and the night dreaming are essential. And if we want to remember our dreams, we can just ask to be reminded so that we can remember them the next morning. And usually, if it's a very pertinent dream, we will remember, and remember so vividly. Everything is so clear. Then we know that that is a significant dream, and it's teaching us a lesson. There's something to be learned there. There's something to be learned in every dream. There's something to be learned through daydreaming too. And some of the most creative people in history have been daydreamers. We read about those who have been proficient in the arts, or Edison and others, scientists who have been dreamers, Einstein. And there's the American work ethic didn't start with America, it started in other countries. There was that work ethic that everyone had to be busy all the time. And they didn't have any, and I remember my great-grandmother used to, the women in the family, and I was too little to complain then, but they would complain that you don't go near Grandma Short because she'll give you a chore and you can't sit down for a moment. And that's what I call the American work ethic, where people think that they have to be busy and everyone around them has to stay busy. And we don't, because we'll work far more efficiently if we take time just to be in between chores. And when we daydream, then we're sending our consciousness out and opening our consciousness to have thoughts come in. And so it can be most productive. That could be some of our most productive time. And then we implement then what we've dreamed, which we've dreamed. But the night dreaming is so important, and I think it's, it's our intent. If we intend to learn and to know what comes through us in dreams, then we will, and we can, and not be afraid to implement it, and not interpret it in a negative way, but in a positive way.
Mm-hmm. Allowing ourselves this time to dream, daydream, I'm speaking of now, or we're going to dream when we're asleep. That's going to happen unconsciously, but and certainly there are messages and guidance and strength and reassurances that are given to us in the sleeping state, and that are equally important. But as we daydream, we connect with that creative reality within us. And you said it so well, we open that door, we open that channel, we open that way for ourselves to be infilled with new ideas and to be revitalized. The other thing is, I think that daydreaming lets us rest from our busy minds. And I know I do a variety of things, as do you, other than spiritual things and counseling. And in business, the most creative times are the times when we begin to dream. And the dreamers of the world are the ones that come up with so many of the wonderful and magnificent ideas and thoughts that empower and improve the quality of life. Now, like anything else, it's very possible to go too far and be a daydreamer all the time. And your grandma, was it Short? She probably wouldn't have any time with that. But there's a time to work, and there's a time to dream, and there's a time to have a connection with that creative reality within us, and then to set goals and to dream wonderful and magnificent dreams about the things that we can and should do. And there are so many wonderful things that we can and should do, but we fail to do them in many cases.
And I think that daydreaming can be likened to meditation. And meditation is quieting our conscious mind so that we're able to then exist with the energy coming through from our subconscious and superconscious. And so when we daydream, we're doing that too. And as we go through each day, if we take time for quiet, for daydreaming, for meditation, for just being, just to be, then we do the chores that we have to do or the work that we're set forth to do far more easily, quickly, and effortlessly. And again, we don't, it's not as tiring. It's far more rewarding and enriching in a fulfilling way than just to be pushing all the time. So, and to pursue our dreams, also we need to look to the future to see what we really want to be doing a year from now or 5 years from now or 10 years from now, and then make a plan and follow that plan. And there's a young man I know, well, he's not so young, but he's young to me. He's probably 55 or so. And he works for a city nearby, and they're letting all the people, and he's been there a number of years, and they're letting them go in one of those plans where they get paid out money, but they're not any longer employed. So I said, I bet you're not dreading that, are you? And he said, no, it's a chance for me. He said, I'll have less cash coming in, but it's a chance for me to pursue something totally new and different. And I'm just trying to decide what I really want to do that's totally new and different. No, I really like that, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And there is as an experience that some may take as very negative and dwell upon the negativity of, oh, this has happened, this is terrible, and what will I do? And instead, he is taking it in a very positive vein and is allowing the dreams of his life to come to the forefront and is allowing that creative reality of change to be more fully manifest in his life.
He's truly going to pursue that dream. And that's what we all need to do. If we always wanted to paint, then paint. If we always wanted to learn music. And whatever it is we've always wanted to do, then it's something that we should do. If we've had this yearning to do something, then do it. And we think we can't find time to do the things that we would like to do, but we can find the time. And if it's just a whim, then that's not as important. But if it's truly a yearning, we should fulfill that yearning.
Absolutely. And sometimes our dreams require sacrifice, and sometimes our dreams take some time. But I'm thinking now of the number of people that I've counseled over the years who have come and talked to me about the fact that they had an idea or a concept, and yet they were not able to make the sacrifices that were necessary. And some of those sacrifices may mean that they have to give up an old way of thinking. It may mean giving up a job that they're unfulfilled in. Just like this person that you're talking about, he may have been very fulfilled in his job. Others are whom we've known over the years and talked with are so unhappy in their jobs, and yet they stay.
That's so amazing.
And I think just today I was speaking with a nurse at one of our hospitals, and we were talking about longevity and happiness in old age, and of course, for many of us, it's coming quickly. But she was talking to me about the fact that she enjoyed talking to the elderly, and that so many of the elderly people that she has spoke to, and some of them with very debilitating conditions, had a strong connection with the fact that they had fulfilled their dreams. And how many people she had worked with and is working with today who are, again, elderly, older at the end of their lives, and they're looking back at their life and are saying, I failed to do that. And because I failed to do that, the bitterness and the unhappiness and the hurt and the anguish comes forth. And it comes forth in physical ways, it comes forth in mental ways, it comes forth in the spiritual dimension of life. And so if we have dreams and we don't fulfill them, one day that reality will have to be dealt with. And so it is important for us to fulfill those dreams. The other thing I think that's important too, and before we get away from it, is this, and it's a different kind of dream, but is night dreaming and the interpretation of night dreams and even daydreams. And so many people get wrapped up in interpretation. And there are good reasons for clinical interpretation of dreams. There are good reasons for spiritual interpretation of dreams. And there are all manner of things that we can get from those dreams that are wonderful and good. But I would caution people against being so involved in understanding every minute detail. And over the years, so many have come to me, and as we've moved through the counseling process, have said, "What do you suppose this means?" And of course, as you know, my answer to so many of those questions is, "I have no idea." And that's not to be flippant or to say it's unimportant, but what I am saying, or trying to make a point, is that we not belabor the point of trying to understand and interpret every single dream and the implication thereof, but to just get on with it, to see them for what they are and to embrace them. But I think to get back to the issue of fulfilling our dreams, we really will come to a point of horrible, horrible remorse. All of us, every one of us, if we have a deep and abiding dream that we fail to fulfill. And again, sometimes the fulfillment of a dream may require some painful separations, some painful changes, and some painful detachments from people, circumstances, and situations. And again, I don't want anyone to misinterpret me and to say, well, I need to leave my husband or my wife, or I need to abandon my family and join the French Foreign Legion. Although if that's an abiding dream that one has, then it ought to be explored. And so I don't even know if there is a French Foreign Legion anymore. But it's important that dreaming be seen for what it is. And that's just one aspect of our life, one thread and one stream, but it's an important stream that we should embrace and that we should savor and that we should fulfill as much as possible.
Yes, and what I'm hearing you say, if there's a gnawing need, then pay attention and do that. And we can always work out something so that we can do what it is we need to do. And of course, we believe that before we're born, we plan what we're going to accomplish in that earth life. And we're working through character traits, and we're working through perfecting talents. It might be in music, it might be in the art, in painting, or other aspects of the arts. It might be in personal relationships. It could be any number of things, but we usually have more than one or two. But we have some major goals that we set forth before we're born. And I think that's why sometimes we feel so agitated and out of sorts. If we want to do something, which you were just describing, and don't, then we feel a deep remorse and we feel disconcerted. And so then if we're just doing very simple things that anyone could do, and they're not terribly significant to the world, but they're significant to us because we've accomplished them, then it means that we're fulfilling what we came in to accomplish.
Yeah, absolutely. The value is to us, and how valuable it is to us and how important it is to us, and setting that level of importance, tremendously important. To do that, isn't it?
Yes, and we can all pursue our dream by knowing what it is we want in life, and by making a plan for how we're going to accomplish it, and then dare to do it. And we might just remember the phrase, "I dare to dream." And also and understood with that is, I dare to accomplish that which I wish to and need to for my own soul's growth. Because if we really feel that we need it, it would be for our soul's growth. And it's something that's very vital. And of course, we have all of eternity to get all those things accomplished. But it's wonderful when we grow spiritually in a given lifetime. And we know when we're doing that now because we're at ease. We're not, and we're happy with the people around us, even if they're miserable and even if they're not very pleasant. And both of us have seen those we've counseled who we've told to just suggested to them that they just send love and light to the people who are creating problems in the workplace. And it makes the big difference. It makes all the difference in the world. And it's so thrilling to me to have people report back that, well, yes, I did. I tried what you said. I just tried sending love and light if they were being cantankerous, or they use adjectives more severe than that. And then everything worked out well. Mm-hmm. And so it can in our lives. And we have to remind ourselves, you and I and all of us have to remind ourselves that life should be joyous, it should be adventuresome, and it should be lived with love and light. And we're sending out light to others when we live in that way, aren't we?
Absolutely. And it's so much, so important for us to send that love and send that light. And we'd like to pause at this point in the program and offer you some information.
Every Sunday morning at the magnificent and historic Scottish Rite Cathedral, located at 855 Elm Avenue in Long Beach. Our worship service and Sunday school begin at 11 a.m. Angelus Unity Cathedral Church at the Scottish Rite Cathedral meets in the only true cathedral church located in the city of Long Beach. This magnificent grand building is a true architectural jewel. The service begins at 11 a.m. and there is Sunday school for the children. There is always plenty of free parking in the cathedral lot. Mike and Iris look forward to meeting you and your family this Sunday. People of all faiths are always welcome. We will be saving you a seat this Sunday at Angelus Unity Cathedral Church at the Scottish Rite Cathedral. You will be warmly welcomed.
So it comes back always to how much effort we are willing to put into anything in our lives to bring about the joy and the light and the love that we have. And just before the break, you were talking so well about how important it is that we do send love and light to all of those around us. And also, I think to add to what you were saying, that it's important for us to bless and send love and light to the dreams that we are fulfilling. And that gives them added power, if you will, and vibrancy to improve not only our lives, but the lives of all of those around us.
Yes, because when we improve our own lives, we are automatically improving and assisting others in their goals and their lives. And just to make people, if we just have a pleasant countenance as we go through our day of meeting people whom we'll never see again, perhaps, it makes all the difference in the world in our lives. And we can look at our own lives and see how when we meet people who are happy and healthy, and when I say healthy, I mean outgoing, it makes all the difference in the world in our day. So we affect others in that way. And I wanted to say something else about how we pursue our dreams. One of the main things we need to avoid is resistance, because it's in resisting when we might have a wonderful dream and see that we need to pursue that dream, but then we resist it. Or others might see that they would be able to help us in certain various and many different ways, but we resist that. So we need to avoid the resistance, shouldn't we?
Absolutely, because as we resist, then we set up conflict, internal conflict, just sometimes external conflict as well, but definitely internal conflict. And as that internal and external conflict become a part of our being, it takes so much from us, mm-hmm. and it becomes wearisome. It's hard. It's hard to fight all the time. And I know you and I are great believers in the fact that we don't want to fight. We want to be in tune with the the universal principles and teachings and ideas and concepts that we share on this program, and that we live and that we use in our counseling practices and spiritual practices. And it is so important for us to make that a natural part of our being. And when we do, then life isn't the hard and difficult thing that it seems to be for so many. But that's not to say that we're not here to help people who are in the midst of conflict and in the midst of difficulty. Mm-hmm. And you and I have had those difficulties, but I don't think in the many years we've been friends we've ever had many fights. We haven't had any fights.
I don't think there's ever been a harsh word. And I think one reason why is because we just, well, I'll just speak for myself. I like to see what you're going to do next. And you have such wonderful ideas. It's easier just to follow them than it is to figure things out myself. And so why should I, and don't, what is it someone said, don't knock success. And so why should I mess that up? But that's always been my goal in life, to have my children make decisions and have them follow their own decisions. And I mention often my little 3-year-old grandson. It's just amazing what wonderful ideas he has. And he choreographs our time together. And one day this week, he was chasing the butterflies. And I said, let's stand still and let them land on our hands. And sure enough, 2 butterflies did. And he did. He's only 3 years old, but he stood there and just held up his hands and had the butterflies land on them. And then he said something about, I've forgotten how we happened to turn on the sprinklers, but we turned on the sprinklers. He took off all his clothing and ran through the sprinklers. And it was just so joyous for him. And I said, excuse me, I'm going in to get a towel for you. And so, that was fine. So when he got cold and wanted to be out of the sprinklers, then he'd come get in a towel. And then one day, when I was at his home, and he explained to his dad and me that he was going into the other room for a certain specific reason. And he explained it very tediously. And when he left the room, I said, I explained to Colt when I'm going to leave the room. If I'm just going to be gone for a moment, I'll say, I'll be right back. And he'll be very calm about it. But if I leave the room and don't give him any explanation, then he stops what he's doing and follows me. And so Greg says, well, I wondered where he got that. But children are such mirrors, but also we can mirror children. And if we don't have children in our family, we can adopt be surrogate uncles, aunts, parents, grandparents, and just see how these children lead us. And and some of my friends say, how do you manage to babysit that child 2 days a week and you don't, and I say, I don't get tired, because again, it's in not resisting. And so I just think, for one thing, I wish I'd been like that when I was raising my own children. And I think all parents must have that hindsight, that they wish they had been different. But if we observe children playing happily, then we can follow suit. And they play with great abandon, and they're one-pointed in what they're doing. And that is children who are well-adjusted and are not being programmed. Because if we try to program them to do one thing and then they want to do another, then it's a bit chaotic. But that's true with adults too, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think from the standpoint of dealing with young people and children, we need to encourage them to dream. Mm-hmm. And because their innate ability to be dreamers and to tell us things not only tells us that they are connected with this mystical world and this creative force, but it also reminds us of how wonderful it is to be in this dream state every once in a while, maybe more often than we are, and how much more wonderful our lives would be if we were more open to that reality and became more childlike. Of course, Scripture tells us that, and it's probably very wise counsel. And so we really do need to be more childlike, and we need to be dreamers, and we need to be creative, and we need to be accepting and loving, and we need to be centers of that love and that light, and we need to let that dreaming reality come from the tips of our toes right on out and exude out of every fiber of our being. And when we do, I think all of us become revitalized and become more youthful.
Mm-hmm. And when we have that dream, then pursue it.
Mm-hmm.
And our topic is pursue your dream. So we need to pursue that which we envision, and whatever we envision, we can achieve. And it makes, and it doesn't have to be in the major aspects of life. It can just be the little things in life. And for those who are listening to us, I would just encourage them, whatever they've often thought they'd really like to do, then do it. And do it in a small way if they can't do it in a large way. Mm-hmm. And we can all just start somewhere.
We need to start dreaming because we've stopped dreaming. Yeah. And then we need to allow that dream, that pursuit of our dreams to continue to be a reality in our lives and in our being. We need to slow down, don't we? And we need to, as you said a moment ago, we need to center ourselves and be single-minded or pointed in our thinking and our living, so that we're less dispersed among these 18 or 20 or 25 things. Maybe we can do only 3 things, and of those 3 things, maybe one of them ought to be one of our dreams.
And one thing at a time, just one thing at a time. That's another thing my grandson said. Let's play that I'll be the king. And I said, okay, you're the king. And he said, and he was sitting on a chair that looks an antique chair, and he said, and what's this that the king sits on? And I said, the throne. He says, I'm the king sitting on my throne, and you are my princess. And so then he kept addressing me as my princess. And I wondered how long he's going to be able to do this. So I just went along with him until he said, well, let's not play that anymore. Let's go outside and play. And so that's a good example of being one-pointed until it's no longer fun, and then do something else. Mm-hmm. But to follow that whim, to follow that dream, as long as it's fun, and when it's not, then do something else.
And that's another topic for another program, to let go of our dreams that are unfulfilled or that are fulfilled, and to fulfill the dreams that are unfulfilled. I'm sorry, I misspoke. So we hope that the information that we've been sharing with you has been useful, and we hope that you will indeed pursue your dreams.
Like a person sitting there.